claim to be Christians, but people who live out their faith in their communities day in, day out with the voluntary work that they do. And there is a huge percentage of Christians do voluntary work as well. Then that's a part of our society we cannot ignore. And I have to say to you that there are people that I know within the independence movement and Scotland more widely who would wish that Christians would just go away. Well, I've got news for them. We're not going away. There's a huge number of us. And if we're going to win independence, we need Christians, we need atheists, we need humanists, we need people right across the board. And that's the only way we're going to win independence.
The last big question on this show that I always ask everyone when it's their first time on is, when was it and why was it that you decided, specifically you, not the group, that Scottish independence was the best solution?
Yeah, well, my father was a Labour voter in Murrayshire, back at the time when Murrayshire was full of Tories. Red Clydeside was full of Labour people and socialists at that.
But Labour was quite pro-India in some respects at that time as well, though, wasn't it?
Well, they were very strongly for home rule. People like Ramsay MacDonald, who came from Lossiemouth, just across the street from where I was born. Maybe not a good name to mention to some Labour people who believed that he would. But Keir Hardie and others were very for strong home rule for Scotland. My father was a trade unionist and Labour voter in Murrayshire when it was very difficult to be a trade unionist and Labour voter. I grew up with all sorts of tales about what happened to him. But I also I started working very young and part-time jobs and all the rest of it. I joined the trade union when I was 16, when I started working. I left school. I should have gone on and taken hires, but I decided I wanted to get out and work. And I also, when I was 14, was involved in a strike in the prawn sheds that I mentioned to you earlier. They didn't pay us the wage that they promised us for doing the work over a week after school and on Saturday and so on. So half a dozen of us who were working in the fish shed walked out and never went back. So I've got a strong pedigree in trade unionism and social justice. I've been a trade unionist ever since I started working. I still am all my life, and I really believe strongly in the unions and so on.
How did that lead to your support for Scottish independence? Right,
okay. I was involved and I joined the union when I was 16, but also that whole sort of union thing, my father and everything else, made me aware of politics at quite a young age. And when I started working as well, there was a guy at my work, Jimmy Mackenzie, his name is, he actually introduced me to the SNP. And he asked, did I want to join the Scottish National Party, Elgin branch? And I thought, right, okay, what's this? So I found out about it and I thought, yeah, that sounds great, because I think the SNP can maybe deliver the sort of social justice that I believe in as a trade unionist at that age. And I joined at the age of 16 in 1965. And then I was a founder member of the Lossiemouth branch of the SNP a year or so later. That's when the SNP was forming branches in Scotland. And I just always had a belief that Scotland, from that time, should be independent and stand on its own 2 feet. And after a number of years, I even managed to persuade my father to vote SNP as opposed to Labour.
That's what we like to hear.
Aye, it was good. He's no longer with us, unfortunately, but there you are.
So just thanks very much for that. So just the last little thing, Dave. If anyone listening wants to get involved, what are the contacts for the group?
Yeah, well, you can find us on Facebook under Christians for Independence. You'll find us on Twitter, Christians, and then the number 4, Indy. We've also got a website, which is christiansforindependence.weebly, weebly.com. And our email is christiansforindependence@gmail.com.
Okay, thank you very much for coming on, Dave.
No problem at all. Pleasure.
So there you go. That was the interview with Dave Thompson of Christians for Indy. Hopefully there'll be another episode during the week. I'm not sure yet if that's going to be an interview, as I've got a few lined up. I've also got a couple of those shows ready where I let you hear a few of the more brilliant, outrageous or ridiculous comments surrounding Scottish politics, and sometimes a little bit further afield as well. Either way, I hope to have something out during the week. Last thing as always is that the first time the guest is on the show he gets to choose the tune, and Dave is not the first guest that has chosen this one, but I think it's quite popular with a lot of people, so speak to you next time.
I don't know if you can see the changes that have come over me in these last few days. I've been afraid that I might drift away, so I've been telling old stories, singing songs that make me think about where I came from, and that's the reason why I seem so far away today. Let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. For if I should become a stranger, you know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Kept on moving, proved the points that I needed proving, lost the friends that I needed losing, found others on the way. I have kissed the ladies and left them crying, stolen dreams, yes, there's no denying. I have travelled hard, sometimes with conscience flying, somewhere with the wind. Let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. For if I should become a stranger, you know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Sitting here before the fire, the empty room, the forest choir, the flames that couldn't get any higher, well, they've withered now, they've gone. But I'm steady thinking, my way is clear, and I know what I will do tomorrow. When the hands have shaken and the kisses flowed, well, I will disappear. Let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. For if I should become a stranger, you know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had.